The quality of the VP9A1 series is undeniable. You can see it in the pistol. The performance, unquestionable. You can appreciate it when you shoot it. But what most people overlook are all of the numerous safety features that are built right into every VP9 that we make. So let's go through these safety features for your VP9. They consist of your trigger safety, your disassembly safety, your multi-axis safety system, and your disconnector safety. First and foremost, and most visible externally on the VP9 series, is your trigger safety. Here at the center of the trigger. This prevents the trigger's accidental discharge because you can't just simply pull the trigger back to the rear by grabbing the side of either side of the trigger. You have to disengage the center of the trigger with the pad of your finger in order to unlock the trigger's rearward movement. As you can see here, as we look up closely, the trigger safety actually blocks the rearward movement until it is fully depressed, and then it allows the trigger to move all the way to the rear. The next safety feature we'll cover is the disassembly safety. This is located here on the left side of the receiver here with the disassembly lever. This ensures that the weapon is unloaded prior to being able to disassemble the weapon. So first and foremost, you have to lock the slide back to the rear before you can unlock the disassembly lever. This encourages you to check the condition of the chamber. Next, you have to remove the source of ammunition before you can rotate the disassembly safety lever down. And then lastly, all you have to do is simply pull to the rear of the slide and then slide it forward. On many of our competitor striker-fired products, you have to pull the trigger to disengage the sear to then release the slide. Not so on the VP9A1 series. The next safety feature in the VP9 series is our multi-axis safety system, otherwise known as a firing pin safety or a drop safety. Shown here, mounted horizontally in the slide, you can see that this system is placed just forward of the firing pin. And in its at-rest position, it blocks the firing pin's forward movement, preventing it from being able to strike the primer on a chambered cartridge and detonate. This means that the weapon can simply not go off if I drop it on the ground or if I shake it really hard. I must first defeat the multi-axis safety system by sweeping it off to the side in order to clear the firing pin channel and allow the firing pin to move forward once the trigger has been pulled and the firing pin is released from the sear. The sweeping action of the multi-axis safety system is completed by the action of the trigger bar moving to the rear. This detent that moves inward on the trigger bar engages with that multi-axis safety system, sweeping out of the way only when the trigger is pulled to the rear. So, in short, the weapon cannot fire until the trigger is pulled. The trigger bar actuates the multi-axis safety system, sweeping it out of position, allowing the firing pin tunnel to be cleared, and then the full movement of the trigger dropping the sear to the rear releases the firing pin forward. And the last safety feature on our VP9A1 series is our disconnector safety. The disconnector safety prevents out-of-battery fire by ensuring that the slide must be fully in battery in order for the weapon to fire. This works in combination with your trigger bar. In normal operation, when the weapon is fully assembled and fully in battery, pulling the trigger causes the trigger bar to move to the rear and, as you can see, engage the sear actuator latch, pushing it back to the rear and in turn dropping the sear down. When the sear is dropped down, it releases the firing pin forward. But If the weapon was out of battery, the disconnector safety, which you can see located right here, just forward of the trigger bar, is depressed. When it is depressed, it causes the trigger bar to drop down, and when you pull the trigger bar still moves, but now it falls underneath the sear actuator latch. It does not engage and release the sear. And this is a corresponding contact point with an interface on the slide. In its at-rest position, the disconnector sits up in this cavity right here on the side of the slide and allows the trigger bar to move back and engage the sear actuator latch and drop the sear. But if the slide was out of battery, this cavity would no longer be presented. The higher portion of the slide would then cause the disconnector to drop down, correspondingly causing the trigger bar to drop down and fall underneath the sear actuator latch, not releasing the sear. Multiple levels of safety in your VP9A1, inspiring confidence in your carry.